Well, thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. Yes, it's powered by Grow. But thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. I'm Neeraj Shah, and it's a completely different morning from what was there day before yesterday. Well, maybe the Navratras have ushered in the festivities for Indian markets because Friday was strong, Monday was weak. Today seems to be a very strong start. Let's take stock of all the action. First, the global roundup, stock futures, the US stock futures are up slightly following a relief rally in the US markets yesterday. Gold rallied as dollar and yields have retreated. Silver, in fact, jumped over 7% as well. Um, Amongst other things, North Japan residents in the Hokkaido region and a couple of other regions were warned to take shelter from North Korean missile. Now, further developments around this might be out, or but at least I haven't checked. But for me, yet to be known. But this some, I mean, hopefully, this is not a big geopolitical piece for the world currently, which is anyways dealing with too many geopolitical issues of late. US is going to announce new limits on chip technology exports to China, and this shouldn't surprise too many people. Just that new limits coming into play as per Bloomberg currently. What the world markets are up to? That's the key question. So the US markets did really well, 2.5% apiece for each of the major indices, and yields came off. If you just see the 10-year yield on the US market, um, 3.64 from 3.79 2 days ago, if you would remember. CBOE VIX came off another 5%. Dollar index is now sub 112, though still higher, but sub 112 from 114 earlier. The SGX Nifty indicates a start which is in the green, not a mammoth green, but about a percent and a quarter, which is also something that maybe people will take with both hands, considering the kind of moves that have been happening of late. Very choppy, very volatile, but for now seems like we'll have a good start at least at our hand. So well, that is a good thing, if you will. Now, a few things. One, about trade yesterday, because it was a very interesting day of trade. The Nifty was down, but 50% of the decline in the Nifty was contributed by five stocks. Adani Enterprises, which was down 8.6% and contributed about 25% of the Nifty decline. Bajaj Finance 2.2, ICICI Bank a heavyweight 1.6, Adani Ports 4.5% down, and ITC 2.2% down. By the way, HUL, Tata Consumer were also lower, but these five contributed to nearly 50% of the decline. Just showed you how concentrated a fall was yesterday. Pharma and autos had sharply contrasting fortunes in trade. Pharma did well, and autos got taken to the cleaners. I mean, Maruti was not the only one. A bunch of others came off. Eicher came off as well. And that was quite a telling statistic, really. The market breadth was 1:1 for a better part of the trading day, and it declined to 4:6 in favor of the declines, by the way. And amongst all this piece of correction that happened in those five Nifty stocks, in autos, in the market breadth, Cipla and Bharti Airtel ended the day at fresh 52-week highs. And that was quite a telling statistic, really. So therefore, that was, of course, what Monday was. And I just thought it was important to highlight how Monday was because of the kind of moves that happened into a bunch of stocks, including the Adani Group stocks. I'm including Ambuja as well, by the way, here. Look at the delivery percentages. A lot of trading action, not very high delivery percentages. So it was not large delivery based selling that happened yesterday, which probably tells me that some of these will bounce back very, very sharply in the session today. Now, standard disclaimer again, that the Adani Group owns 49% in BQ in Quintillion Business Media, which is the owner of BQ Prime. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. Let there be no biases out here. But yes, I like to call a spade, and it does seem that the Adani Group stocks will bounce back today simply because the delivery percentages were just so low. So what's the trade setup therefore for the day looking like today? One, markets declined very sharply only towards the fag end, but India VIX certainly rose 7%. It's bouncing off that 20 mark, and in the spaces that we did last week, all the technical experts and the derivative experts were of the opinion for the Nifty to have a sustainable up move, VIX needs to come below 20 and stay there. For now, it's not doing that. Currently, too, above, I think, 21 point something. So it bounced off that near 20 mark, currently higher. Let's see if indeed this rally continues and if indeed VIX were to come lower, does it do that over the course of the next couple of days? I would reckon that metals as well as rate sensitives will dominate trading action before the market holiday tomorrow. Now, remember, as I said, autos got taken to the cleaners. Can there be a bit of a bounce there? That is part one. And metals globally, metal stocks have really rallied. Maybe you'll have the Hindalcos, Tata Steels, etc. could be active today, and I'll talk about that. Electronic Smart India IPO opens for subscription today, so that's the primary market action that people will be watching out for. What are the stocks to monitor? Well, Eicher Motors corrected 7% from opening price, ending about 5.6% lower. Can you imagine yesterday when we were talking about Eicher, we just spoke about how strong the volume growth numbers looked like, and therefore this came as a bit of a rude shock to people. But autos, by and large, got corrected yesterday, and therefore Eicher was no different. The volume traded though in Eicher was 3.3 times the weekly averages. So, there was quite a bit of activity, quite a bit of FNO activity too. OI went up by about 16%, suggesting very strong short build-up. RSI fell below 50 for the first time since June. And now this is as per all this data is per MK Quant. Now, all of this on a routine day would make you believe that there will be a continuation of a downtrend, and there could well be. I'm not predicting what the stock will do, but keep in mind, because the markets are going to turn around because of such heavy short build-up, which happened after fairly strong fundamental data. You never know, there could be a bout of short covering as well. So difficult to call this one. I just wanted to highlight what happened in Eicher in particular, simply because it was a bit of a surprise mover considering the kind of monthly sales data that came out from Eicher. So watch out for this one. Watch out for metal stocks. Global metal stocks jumped sharply in trade. Amongst other news, there is some chatter of action against Russian metal at play, as a result of which I think a bunch of these stocks were active, and maybe you might have some of Indian metal stocks active as well. Q3 updates for Avenue Supermarts. Revenue from operations was up 35% at 10,384 versus 74649 crores. For HDFC, the individual loans were up 26.9%. Hindustan Zinc recorded a growth of 16% in production of refined zinc and 21% in refined lead. And South Indian Bank about a 17% rise YOY in gross advances. So couldn't find too many faults from with these four at least when it came to the quarterly updates. MMFSL 82% growth in disbursements in the quarter ended September 30th. The collection efficiency was at 98%. Asset quality further improved during the month and the quarter ending September 30th, 2022. So would be interesting to see how MFSL reacts. Remember, it's had a bit of a rude shock last week, wherein RBI has barred external agents from doing the collection activities. But let's see if these numbers help it. Marico was the bummer, really. It posted low single-digit volume growth in its India business. The consolidated revenue in the quarter grew in low single digits as well. And as per analysis, it seems that copra prices, which has remained soft, and edible oil and crude oil prices also corrected sequentially during Q2, which might likely benefit gross margins. So volumes may be weak, but when Marico gives out its numbers, the margins might look okay, and that might actually be a good sign for Marico shareholders. But I would suspect that today we might have a bit of a dull day for Marico. So let's watch out for that. Remember, I must say that on a bad day, NIT, which posted its quarterly update yesterday and was a terrible one, corrected just about 1.5%. So it's not that everything is getting walloped and being taken out of shape or taken to the cleaners. But I would suspect that despite the good day today, and just looking at the trend in FMCG, maybe Marico might have a slightly tough day, but I may be wrong, of course. Promoter buying seen in stocks like Brokerage Properties, Man Infra, as well as PSP projects. So those are a few that you got to keep in mind. Remember, I've been talking about Man Infrastructure, and I've been seeing this promoter Parag Shah buy shares quite consistently over the last 15-20 days. It's been, the name comes in every second, third day. So pretty interesting. Similarly for Godrej Properties, but Man Infra a lot more. So let's wait and watch. Incidentally, I must mention out here, viewers, before we move on, that in a Jeffries note today, Mahesh Tendulkar writes that since, I mean, the stocks which are leading the intermittent rallies, the sectors that is, are failing to hold on in the next rally. So he's saying that from the rally that last started from July until September, real estate and BFCs were all leaders. And therefore, he believes that if the markets were to bounce back from here on, real estate may not be the leader. That's his view, and that's it's an interesting note. Of course, we'll bring you on BQ Prime during the course of the day, so you might want to read the nuances of that note. But it's a very interesting note written. He's talking about how defensive buying may not necessarily work, but in certain cases like NTPC, etc., may work. In FMCG, it's not quite work off late, right? So even defensive buying, you got to be picky and choosy. Is the point he's trying to make. Nevertheless, I just thought I'll bring that point up because there were some real estate names out here. Quick heel, the tendering period for the buyback begins today and will end on 18th October. The stock ended at 203, which is with an offer price at 300, which means the return potential for the tendering is about 48%. Interesting. And a recommendation, ICICI Direct has come out with a note on Divi's Lab. They say that it's likely to outperform in the coming days. The OI has increased sharply in the last couple of months. The stock price diverted sharply from the support area. And because there is a fair degree of short position out there, but the stock price has reverted, the short positions might be forced to close, which may take the stock higher in the coming sessions as per ICICI Direct. So do watch out for that. I'm just trying to figure out what else is in focus today. Uh, IndusInd Bank I've missed, by the way. So excuse me for that. Deposit growth was likely the best in 5 quarters, and loan growth the best in 4 quarters. So that one is interesting. Um, yeah, the gas companies, Mahanagar Gas, etc., raise prices. So that is um, not bad. Bombay Dyeing has approved fundraising of up to 940 crores through a rights issue. So that is something to watch out for. And and from brokerage notes, I think uh, Dam Capital on Federal Bank has initiated with a buy rating and a target price of 155. So do watch out for that one as well. Nevertheless, that's the long and short of the trade setup today, viewers. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a safe day ahead. And to all of you, a very happy Dasera. May all our evils be murdered left, right, center. Thanks so much for tuning in.